Hello, good evening. Just not put up anything for a while, so I thought it was about time I did. And it's quite lucky that today in the post I actually got an envelope, which hopefully, if I can focus in on, there we go. Hopefully we get that right. Came from China and opened it up, and this is what was inside. So let's throw that over there for the moment. Lots and lots of little kits. So I had a look back at my page where I actually bought things from. Oh, it looks like there's a little bit too much light, so I'm going to just drop it down a bit because it looks like it's a bit too high. Okay, and look through, and in this lot I have a voice control switch. What does it say? Selling electronic circuit with high quality. A DIY kit level indicator, electronic production suite. New LED sound control melody lamp electronic production kit DIY kit suite in selling. Breathe light suite, light water electronic suite, electronic dice suite, proximity DIY kit, electronic lucky rotary suite DIY kit. So out of this lot I've got to figure out which ones are which. Now that looks very much like a level indicator, as does that, and as does that, which looks about right. A sound control melody lamp indicator, that looks like that because that has lots of white LEDs on. This looks like the infrared proximity switch. This looks like the water switch. This one, the breathe light switch. Okay. That's the rotary suite, lucky rotary suite between 1 and 10, and that looks like sound activated. I don't know, that could be it, that could be the other one. Let's have a look. Three of them, yep, I think we've got everything there. I know I bought more of these ones in particular because these I was going to use for a VU meter kit. LM3915 kit, yeah, that sounds about right. They're the same, and that should say the same on the back, yep. Unfortunately I don't speak Chinese. I know my phone does, but as I say, that's got a relay in it and an infrared detector, so that I would take to be a proximity switch, which is meant to be able to switch on things as you get closer, ideally for taps. When you want to wash your hands, you don't have to touch a tap, you just put your hands in front of the tap and the water should flow, which, oh, that was a bit fast on the camera, wasn't it? This one, the breathe kit, is just a slow glowing, fading in, fading out light. Yeah, something LED. It sounds like, well, anyway. I don't know which one to make. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, I think 7, 8. Yeah, that sounds about right. Let me see. Yeah, that sounds about right there. So, I suppose let's get the soldering iron warmed up and start on one of them. Pick one at random, I suppose. Something nice and easy because it is 20 to 3 in the morning here. Do we go with that one? Do we make some pretty LED lights glow, sound to light? We don't really want any noise. So, breathing light, glowing light in and out. Yeah, that probably sounds about right, doesn't it? Okay, let's put all these others back in the bag and move that out the way, and let's go and open this up and see what we've got. Now, I'm sorry if you can hear the background noise. It is my laser printer humming away, where I've just printed out that sheet. So let's start. Grotty little bag. I found that with these Chinese things, that either the bags are really good or they're really bad. There's no in between. It seems to be one or t'other, as they say. Oh, look, the pins have come out of the LED out of the socket for the chip. That's a good start, isn't it? So what have we got here? Well, we've got all sorts of things tied in with this USB cable. Oh, that's the power socket. So we have a USB cable, fine, okay. What else do we have? We have resistors. What's that? 220 ohm resistors. We have brown black 10K. Sorry, my eyes are really not working at this time of the morning. That should be that way up. 47K by the looks of it, and well, that's 10K. That's 100K. That's me getting my values wrong, but they are all written on the board anyway. So I suppose the first thing to do is to actually fix this socket and put the pins back in. So let's just point that in the right way, and hopefully that one. Clumsy fat fingers I have, as you see. I am also trying out my microphone in a slightly different position today, so if the sound quality is any better or worse, I'll find that out in the mix, which might mean that this video might not make it into YouTube. It might make it that it does make it there, and with apologies for the sound, or re-recorded audio. Okay, so that's now fixed. So we have the circuit board and LM358, which is the chip. Let's just check. As I say, my eyesight isn't good enough to read that without. So LM358, which is just a little audio op-amp type thing. Let's come on, straighten the legs. This is the only trouble with buying stuff that comes through the post, when you have chips that are just packaged in thin plastic bags, that things do get damaged, and it's a drawback of these sort of things, which you either live with or you don't. Now, obviously, I can work around most of those things, but if you haven't got a great big stock of parts and other such bits and pieces, you might have a little bit more trouble. So let me put my glasses back on properly, and I suppose we start with the resistors. So what have we got? 22, and that's what these are. They're not 220s, they're 22s. Yeah, 2 and no zeros. So yeah, let's start with them two. Might as well, seeing as they're the first ones I picked up. Bend them over, and we're just going to put them in the board. Again, you know, if I was going to do this from scratch without using a kit, then I'd be considering Veraboard layouts and all sorts of other things like that. But in reality, I don't think for the price I couldn't justify getting a Vero kit when or making a Veroboard layout, buying all the components separately and putting it together, to be quite honest, because you just can't beat the Chinese at this sort of game. They just produce everything so cheaply that you just really can't do it any cheaper yourself, so you're better off just buying it as a do-it-yourself kit like this, and just putting them together. Let's just make sure that they're all the right way round. They don't have to be the right way round, it's just for neatness. Let's see, I'm trying to work off camera here, I'm trying to work at arm's length. So yeah, we are working at the wrong angle here. I really should learn how to do this properly in front of the camera. Yeah, here we go. The other thing with the camera is it's obviously not pointing straight down because of the height limitation on the bench, to be quite honest. When I built the workbench, I hadn't thought about doing YouTube or anything like that. I built it purely as somewhere to work on my own stuff, and that's why the camera angles are what they are. If I thought about it, I could really make some sort of mount for the camera and put it in so that it is pointing straight down. The camera itself, if anybody is interested, is a Nikon D5300 DSLR, and the microphone I'm currently using is the Rode VideoMic Pro. Why do I say that? Because you get questions about it. I have tried using other equipment. The inbuilt microphone on this camera is absolutely rubbish. It really does sound horrible and tinny. I have also recorded some of my videos using a what's it called, an Olympus S20 I think it is, or something like that, or Z20. What was that? That was 10 with 3 zeros, so that's 10k. And that works really well, but it's a stereo mic, and it's not as flexible for exposures and things like that, which does really make a difference. It sometimes gets swamped out, and you know, the actual sensor on it is a bit small. It's primarily an audio recording device rather than a video camera, so much as I like it and it works really well, I've gone over to the DSLR. I thought about getting a camcorder, that sort of thing, you know, one of the movie cameras, but I do have an interest in photography as well, or shall we say a growing interest in photography, so I thought I'd go with a DSLR. Right, okay, so let's get the soldering on, clean tip, and the solder. As you see, I do work backwards for this, and I'm not holding anything down, so it probably might end up a bit cack-handed. I have noticed that my head is sometimes bouncing against the microphone, so the positioning of that may go back to being on a tripod. Let's just solder all these down. As you see, nice and quick. Nice leaded solder, as I always say. Hate lead free. Damn the environment, damn those kids for eating the lead paint. That one doesn't look very good. I don't know, it never did us any harm, did it? So a few of us got lead poisoning, but there you go, long term. You know, leaded petrol and all the rest of it, that's what I grew up with. And I suppose a lot of people viewing this also grew up with leaded petrol, so we can't all be stupid. We can't all have got lead poisoning from that, so yeah, there we go. Right, so now I need my cutters. There we go, so let's just chop these ends off. Now my cutters unfortunately have suffered a little bit because I've been, to be quite honest, I've been using them for quite a while now, and I really should replace them. And recently I tried to cut something that was a little bit too much for them, so they've got a little bit of a notch in the blades. So we'll work on replacing those soon. I have seen a lot of people, I don't know if anybody watches Big Clive's channel, but a lot of people seem to, so got a lot of subscribers. He goes with either the Chinese ones or the nice made in USA ones. I may well have a look at the Chinese ones myself. Seeing as I buy everything else from China, I don't see why I shouldn't buy expensive cutter. These are actually, who makes these? Pierigomi from Italy. Whatever anybody says about the Italians, their manufacturing industry is fantastic. You only have to look at their motorcycles, their machinery, their cars. They do a lot of industrial machinery, which, you know, really is probably some of the best in the world. So I will never knock an Italian for his manufacturing industry, unlike the UK, where we used to have a great manufacturing industry, and what did we do? We sold it to the Chinese, or we just got too expensive. But I'll stop on the political rubbish because, obviously Brexit looming and all the rest of it. So just soldering this chip socket. I could solder the chip in direct, but then if there is a problem, you can't change it very easily without possibly damaging the tracks. Well, you can actually, but it's more effort than just popping it out of the holder, so you might as well use the chip socket that they give you. So there's that. What next? Same sort of height. I'm going with things of similar height. Capacitor, transistor next, could be. Capacitor just in, like that. Shall I put the transistor as well while I'm here? Yeah, I suppose I could. Let's not get it trapped round there. I haven't even checked what type of transistor it is. I'm just popping it in the pre-marked, pre-hole thing. We'll see. It should be just a regular fit and a regular sort of work. So capacitor, come on, lead. Yeah, so I'm not leaning in like I normally do, just because really I'm trying to get my video technique a little bit better, shall we say, so that everybody can see what I'm doing without me sort of getting head and hands in the way. What was I looking for next? I was looking for the should we do LEDs? Yeah, could do. Let's see which way. Find the negative of the LED there. That's that way. Come on. Trouble I'm having is actually seeing the holes in the board. Negative, so positive that way. I think I'm putting them in the right way. Brain is a little bit fuddled. As I say, I've been doing all sorts today. Getting ready for night shift again tomorrow, my main job. This is just a hobby. I do this for fun and enjoyment, funnily enough. A lot of people say, what's fun and enjoying about electronics? Well, you can have some great fun. Let's just put that in better. There you go. And let's flatten that one up a bit. I should have done them one leg at a time rather than two. But I'm just sort of looking at the camera, watching the battery indicator. Okay, yes, the battery did die on the camera. Oh, turning the light there down a little bit. Right. Where did it jump off? It jumped off as I was just about to put the chip in and the switch on the power. Well, I put the chip in and switched on the power because I wasn't watching the camera as well as what I was doing, so the camera decided it was going to switch itself off, and here we are. So we have a glowing pair of LEDs which seem to just sort of come and go and do what they do, and we can increase the interval between what they do. There you go, they glow a bit dimmer and quite sort of rapidly together. You can turn it right round and then they don't do anything at all by the looks of it, because that's probably too low a resistance value. Probably the timing is too long on that to well, probably to charge that capacitor up to get it to flash. Let's take it back. Oh, there we go. We're just getting a very dim glow there. Yeah, basically that's controlling the current to the LEDs. And if you turn it right up, they glow brightly, and yeah, so it's not controlling the timing at all. All that's doing is controlling the brightness of the LEDs, so you have some sort of gain control on that. So there we go, nice cheap little Chinese kit, and ready to rock and roll, as they say. Okay, so that's that, and we'll see you for the next video. Thanks very much for watching.